Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Backwoods History Podcast. Tegan Jacoby here, your host today. Today, we are looking into economic systems. Today's prompt is, what is the economic system within my family? Is it market-based, or is it command-based, or is it perhaps a little bit of both? I'd say, to answer that the economic system within my family is a little bit of both market and command economies. And I'm going to dig deeper into that in just a bit. Today's key ideas are market versus command economies and why one over the other doesn't really work alone by itself. And thirdly, my family's economic system, a little bit of both. Let's get into it today. The market economy. So what is the market economy? It's essentially where the individuals get to make all the decisions. They have some brilliant idea and they get to use it and make it grow and turn it into a product where they can sell it to everyone who wants to buy it. That is a market economy. They don't have the government to control how much of that they can sell, how much pollution they can emit to create the product they want to sell, and blah, blah, blah. They don't have the government's control. Quote, market economies are based on private/groups of individuals in enterprise. End quote. OpenStack's Principles of Economics. Again, another quote. According to CK12, the goods and service supply depend on what is demanded. A person's income is based on his or her ability to convert resources, especially labor, into something that society values. End quote. CK12 Foundation, Economic Systems. As you can see here, it's a very free way of living, essentially, and making a profit. There's little and no control by the government, and we essentially have to cater to what the economy wants in order to sell our product. Now, command economy, on the other hand, is where the government gets to make all the decisions. They have a lot of control over most of it, and which comes with its pros and cons as well. According to CK12, quote, no catering to the consumers, little no incentive to work harder or better, the large bureaucracy, lack of flexibility, and no rewards for individual initiative or unique ideas. And this creates a really stagnant workplace. End quote. CK12 Foundation, Economic Systems. As you can see, command economies, they also can really do big things, which is great. For example, the Egyptian pyramids or the Great Wall of China or other big things that took a lot of people to come together and do things. This is based off of a command economy. Quote, according to the Britannica Encyclopedia, quote, command systems, on the other hand, are marked by their capacity to mobilize resources and labors in ways far beyond the reach of traditional societies. End quote, Britannica. Now, they can do really big, large-scale achievements, but it still doesn't really work. And that's where we get into the second part of this podcast. Why one over the other doesn't really work. Whether it be a market economy or whether it be a command economy that's controlled by the government. The market economy, they have so much freedom that they don't really know what to do with it. And it can involve a lot of failure and a lot of risk, and it might not be that fruitful. In other words, you might have some brilliant idea, but the economy doesn't want anything to do with your brilliant idea, and so they don't really want to buy it. And so it's not, your business isn't going to do that well. Now, somebody else might have a much better idea that it might not be it might not be better than yours, but the economy might actually want it. And they're going to buy their product over your product. That's just the reality. Now, a command economy, it's all controlled by the government. And the government has so much control that there's not as much economic growth as you'd think there is. And same thing goes with the market economy. There's not as much growth. There's so much growth, but there's also so much other stuff going on. Too much, I'd say. The command economy, they have so much control by the government, and the government gets to make all the decisions rather than use some of the brilliant ideas by some of the people in the market economy that want to use their brilliant ideas. It's very clear from the economic systems crash course video that it's best when one works off the other to build an economy that really works super well, when it's a little bit of both. And examples that China, they may seem like a very communist kind of country, but they also have very much a market economy, and they promote economic growth through their goods and all the sales they're making. And the United States is another great example of that, where we have a lot of freedom in the market economy, but the government still does have a little bit of control, and they get to control just a little bit so that it doesn't get out of hand, essentially. Based on what I've told you, now I can explain how my family economic system works and why it's a little bit of both. So the two different family economies might look something like this. A command economy family might look something to the effect of having little to no control over what you get to do or what you want to do. And you might have like helicopter parents, not a bad idea, not a bad way, but like they might have a lot of control over you. They might not let you do as much stuff as you wish you could do. And you might not have very much independence. Now, market economy family might look something to the effect of that you have all the freedom in the world, lots of independence. You can spend all the time you want on your phone. You don't have a curfew at the end of the night. You can do all this stuff you want to do. And perhaps you don't have very much protection from your parents. Now, my family, it's a little bit of both. I have a lot of freedom, but they also have set some things in place to keep me from having too much freedom. And that's how it works. And it actually works really well because of that. It's like I get to do what I want to do, but I also have to spend time with my family and fulfill my family responsibilities at home before I can do the things I really want to do. And that's just the reality. And it actually works really well. I have a phone, I have a job, I can drive a car alone, all this stuff. But my parents still have control over me, and I love them because of that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the podcast. I hope it made sense what my economic system is in my family, and I hope you enjoyed the episode. Stay tuned for the next one, and we'll see you guys later on the Backwoods History Podcast. Thank you very much.